Hello and welcome to another edition of MASCAC Student Athlete Spotlight, where each week I get to highlight an amazing student athlete from around the conference. My name is Emily Liu, MASCAC Assistant Commissioner, and speaking with me today is Drew Eade of Worcester State Men's Ice Hockey. Thank you so much for being here today, Drew.
Thank you for having me.
All right, pretty easy question right off the bat, but why hockey?
A lot of family played hockey, watching them, grow up, or my older cousins played, my uncles on my mom's side played, my dad played. They were all defensemen, and for some reason I chose forward. Maybe had to go back on the drawing board for that one, but my uncles played at Plattsburgh, and the other one walked on at Northeastern. My cousins played at Providence College and New England College. My dad played varsity at St. John's Shrewsbury. So hockey was always a very involved sport on both of my family sides. So eventually, I think someone just threw skates on me at 5, 6 years old and said, "See how you like it." I liked it, and you know, 20 years almost later, we're kind of at the end here.
And you're from Maine, correct? So I kind of think
Yes.
that's a rite of passage.
Lots of rinks. Hockey has been growing there quite a bit, like the talent pool. Before kind of my age group came along, Maine wasn't exactly the hotbed for hockey, but I think it's trending in a very, very promising direction. There's more guys getting Division 1 opportunities, Division 3 opportunities. So it's always great to see that the game's growing in your home state.
Yeah, for sure. All right, so, Worcester, Massachusetts isn't exactly down the street from Maine. So, how did you end up at Worcester State?
You know, things just kind of fall into place. My dad's side of the family, as I said, he played at St. John's Shrewsbury, is from Auburn and Worcester, Massachusetts. So my entire dad's side of the family is from this neck of the woods. And w unfortunately, we had the pandemic right in front of where I was kind of looking to play, college. With playing juniors, you talk to, quite a few schools and you kind of feel everyone out. The only school I couldn't visit was Worcester State. My day to visit was the day the state shut down, in
Wow.
March of 2020. So I had to go by online. I knew the rink. I knew kind of an idea about the locker room. I had a pretty good grip on where the program was, but the school was gorgeous. They had my academic program, the coaching staff. This is actually the third technically head coach I've had in 4 years playing here. Um, they were really adamant on, recruiting me. So it was good to feel wanted. But all the pieces just kind of were put together in April and it all worked out. And now I'm sitting having this conversation with you.
That's awesome. And do you get to see some of that family since they're so close? Does that help make you feel like home a little bit, having that support?
Yeah, a little bit. I'm kind of used to being, away from home. I went to boarding school sophomore and junior year of high school, so I was away from home there. As probably 99% of the guys here in the MASCAC did. They played juniors. They were probably away from home at some point. So being away from home didn't bother me, but it's always nice, once a week to go have a home cooked meal at your grandmother's house or just meet everyone out to eat after a game. So that part of it is just something that, you don't normally plan when you're picking a college. It's a luxury, to be
Yeah,
honest.
definitely a little bonus. So. All right. So last season, you had kind of a unique experience a little bit. You were recovering from an injury, so you kind of served as a student coach. What was that like for you? And how did you make that transition back to being on the ice with your teammates this year?
Yeah, I mean, it was a tough year last year. I was going into the year with two torn labrums in my shoulders and an unfortunate hit in the second game of my, quote unquote senior season. I dislocated my left and kind of dislocated my right at the same time. And this has happened quite a few times, from juniors to now. And so ultimately, I had to, kind of have a heart to heart with my doctor. And he said, like, hey, you're not going to want to hear this, but you're going to need season-ending surgery on your left for sure. You can't play. You're going to get nerve damage. Your rotator cuff's going to go. Your bicep's going to go. It's like you want to, live the rest of your life at a high quality, Drew. And, that doesn't mean you slam the door shut. But, you know, fast forward into February, we get an MRI on my right, and he's like, let's get both of them done. And I asked him, it's a very rigorous surgery. It's 6 to 7 months of recovery, and you're cleared by my two surgeries were a little more involved. So it involved 9 months to return to contact sports. So I was cleared August 6th, from a November 14th surgery date, 2023 to August 6th of 2024. So in between that, I'm in a sling here, I'm in a sling here. Throughout the year, I'm doing homework, lefty, I'm typing with one arm, just trying to figure it out. It's my senior year, I'm graduating, and Coach Punske came up to me. I was probably right around Christmas and said, like, hey, um, I want to get you more involved. How would you like to come on the bench and help? And I think, it I love helping the team. That's just kind of something that I've always, I pride myself on being a team first guy, being the hardest working guy in the room. And that was something where not only could I help the team, but selfishly a little bit, it helped me mentally. It was tough sleeping in a recliner for 12 to 14 weeks. It was tough, doing homework with one arm. It was tough, asking people for rides when I really couldn't drive at all, for a few weeks. So it helped me kind of get my mind off things, and it kind of shifted me into a world of coaching. And not only was it rewarding learning from the bench as a coach, but it also taught me how to communicate with different guys. We usually a team carries 30 guys on a team. You kind of learn that players one, two, and three need to be addressed differently in regards to a certain situation. So the psychology of things, it taught me, the player aspect of things, it taught me to just see from a different point of view, which, was very rewarding. I enjoyed it a lot. You know, I would prefer not to do it again, as a player. But if God forbid something happened, I would be, that's something that I'd hopefully be asked back into doing. But we don't want to go down that road. The surgeries went really well. We rehabbed from spring break to about the end of August. So it was a long with PT, training, limited skating. So it was a long road to get to where I am now. And I'm so thankful to just be playing again.
That is wow. That is a long recovery, and we are very thankful to see you back out on the ice and hopefully
Thank you.
injury free this year, so you
Knock
can
on
enjoy it.
knock on wood.
Definitely for sure. All right, so let's switch gears a little bit. You're currently a grad student at Worcester State, like you said you were done last year with your undergrad. So, what are some of your short-term and long-term goals once you are officially done?
Yeah, you know, kind of going back to the last question, the two surgeries, just kind of some doors closed and some doors opened. It allowed me to come back and play again. It helped me, I'm trying to get a master's degree in public policy and administration. I'm just wrapping up my first semester with that. So it opened these new doors, and another door that opened was me applying for a full-time job, in between. So it's a gap year, but it's not really because I'm getting my master's degree, I'm playing hockey, and I'm also um, trying to get a job. So I've been working with the Maine State Police on becoming a trooper. And, it requires, a physical test, a written test, a reading test, all kinds of these tests, polygraph, oral boards, med evaluation, psych. So I've been able to do all this while, balancing school, hockey, and life. And my hope is, we're at the tail end. So far, so good. Fingers crossed. When I'm out of Worcester State, I can kind of get my master's degree at my own pace and I'll have a full-time job. Um, but, short-term master's degree, long-term, I'm set on a career.
That's amazing. Like you're listing off those things like you have nothing going on in your life, like student athlete, school, trying to be a state trooper. I mean, geez, how do you, yeah. What else can you add to that?
I honestly have last year to thank for that. Because I had to juggle so much with one arm, for, few months here and then the other arm a few months there. So, it was a really hard lesson, but it served me well now, and I hope it serves me well for the rest of my life. Honest to God.
Not that you ever wish that, but it sounds like you learned a lot and it's kind of helped you for going forward. So, but we're glad you're healthy. That's the
Thank
key. We
you.
are very glad you're healthy. So, a couple years ago, you attended the NCAA Leadership Conference. I imagine it was a great experience for you, but what did you take away from it?
So when I got that invitation, I was really, really surprised that, um, you know, I was hurt around that time. That's when the shoulder issues really started to come up. And I was surprised I got picked because, I thought there was a lot of really high quality student athletes at our school. But I went and, I had no expectations. I had no idea what I was going to experience or see. And from the moment I got there, I'll never forget meeting some of these people, the captain of the Kentucky basketball team, the captain of the Miami football team. And, you think these guys and women are, these big shot people, but they're on the inside, they're very, very compassionate, giving, kind, just model human beings. And what we kind of all took away from it, there was six different teams with six different instructors, leaders, well, whatever you might call it. We At the end of it, we didn't even need them. At first, like breaking the ice, and that was the purpose of it. Breaking the ice, getting to know each other, like they did a great job moderating. They did a great job the whole way. But the thing that we all took away was it's okay to be vulnerable. And I think that's a lot of people struggle with is being vulnerable and opening up and not being afraid at seeing the results. And when you kind of look at things for what they are, face value with it's yourself or your situation, you have a much clearer vision on how you want to tackle things, whether it's adversity or success and everything else in between. When you are vulnerable with yourself, it sets you up for more success down the road. But it was an unbelievable experience. I still talk to some people in my group today. They're just terrific human beings, and we wish each other nothing but the best moving forward.
It's amazing. And that's a good like public service announcement for anybody who's interested in it. That's
Yeah,
one of your major takeaways for sure.
I have no idea how, to this day I got picked, but I'm very, very fortunate to have gone. Because, the other thing too is you think you're alone sometimes in these adversities. Like in July of 2021, I lost my mother to lung cancer. 6-year battle. She never smoked a day in her life. Just, one in a million gene mutation. But, she turned these 6 months into 6 years and she showed me, it's not over until the clock hits zero. And, we going back on being vulnerable, I kind of opened up that area of conversation and each individual, I don't want to give names and stuff like that away, but each individual our entire group raised their hand, and it was very sad to hear that people went through the same experiences. So whether it's with parents, siblings, best friends, loved ones, a lot of people were in the same boat. And you never know what someone's going through. So you kind of have to take a step back and just kind of analyze it, full view, 360 degrees, instead of just looking at things on a screen or at their face.
Oh, and very sorry to hear about your mom.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate that.
Um, yeah, that's whew, you got me a little emotional for you. I lost my dad when I was 16, so I understand.
Um,
Yeah.
I'm
I,
sorry to hear that.
anyway, not about me. It's all about you. So anyway, all right, last question. If you could share something about your Division 3 experience with someone who might be considering coming to a Division 3 school or even Worcester State, what would you share?
Division 3 and Division 1 are, you know, usually two completely different entities. Unfortunately, we don't get millions of dollars in funding from our, athletic department. Everyone's doing the best they can, but what separates Division 3 from Division 1, from what I've seen from my own eyes, is it kind of teaches you how to be an adult and a professional kind of juggler at life. Um, you got to go ask for help when you need it. It's not going to be right there, right in front of you. Sometimes it might be, sometimes it doesn't, but it teaches you to just, you know, if you already haven't exactly fallen in love with the game, you will, um, you know, playing, wherever you play at the Division 3 level. It's still so competitive and so hard to make from a just a hockey perspective. You still have to just work, 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 summer, spring, just to get to Division 3. Maybe not even Division 1, and maybe you don't make it at all, but it's still just extremely rewarding. It's the 4 most fun years of hockey I've had in my life. But I wouldn't take it back for anything. It's just extremely rewarding. You get to pick your degree. You get to, you have a little more freedom, but you also have a lot more responsibility at the end of the day. But if you really love the game and you're a good student, it's a great area to be.
Another PSA, like, oh my goodness, I just clip these and send these to the NCAA so they can show prospective student athletes these. So, all right, Drew, we're gonna switch it up just slightly and kind of get to know you on a more fun level, all right?
Sure.
All right, Dunkin' or Starbucks?
If you asked me this a few years ago, I'd say Dunkin'. They got this brown sugar shaken espresso. I get it with like the regular whole milk, but it's really good. I work in Worcester during the summers just because I live here like with an apartment.
Mhm.
So I usually got one of those. I started getting those coming home to Maine from work Thursday nights, and it just became a staple. And then I started getting them in the mornings, and then I started eating the food there, and it's pretty good. Dunkin's good too. I don't mind Dunkin' at all, but I'd rather a Starbucks coffee over a Dunkin' Donuts coffee.
That is a very common theme. All right, indoor or outdoor hockey?
Ooh, I mean, nothing would make me happier than to have a conversation with Mr. Mudd, put an ice rink on the turf, and have it be, Worcester State versus whoever, in January. But I grew up on a lake. I grew up, my dad building me a rink. There's nothing better skating at night when it's snowing and the lights are on. Just from a fun perspective of hockey, sometimes you're just out there by yourself. It's just the nostalgia, the core memories you make from there. But indoors great too. Packed stadium, that's always great too.
All right, favorite NHL team and player?
Favorite NHL team, definitely the Bruins. I mean, I kind of watch everyone just because there's so many new young guys in the league, and sadly they're younger than me at this point. But yeah, the Bruins are great. I mean, I hope they kind of figure it out here, but I'm sure they will. They got a new coach, so hopefully that kind of fires them up a little bit. But I always loved watching Bergeron grow up. As I was growing up watching Bergeron play, I play center primarily, so he was really good in the defensive zone. He was really good, goal line to goal line. He was really good on draws. Just a well-respected, probably the most respected player in the league when he was playing. I tried, as best as I could to model my game after his.
All right. If you could have lunch with anyone, who would it be and why?
There's a lot of interesting people. I mean, I don't even know if I'd go, I don't even know if I'd go hockey here. Bergeron would be great. Um, there's some interesting guys, on the Bruins too that, just to have a conversation with them, that'd be great. Um, I'm actually a diehard Celtics fan too. A guy that I'd really want to have lunch with would be Jaylen Brown. He's I've been a fan of him ever since he got drafted, not because of his basketball skills. He's like literally good at everything. He plays like a bunch of different instruments. He's like a genius. He teaches at Harvard. He's an NBA Finals MVP. Just like the success that he's had, just, I want some pointers.
No, he is definitely a jack of all trades for sure. All right, last one, Drew. Worcester State royal blue or gold?
I wish we had golden jerseys. I thought that'd be really cool, all gold with like a blue W, and we make a jersey out of it. We get gold helmets. Obviously, it's a pipe dream, but I do like our bright blues. We just got new jerseys this year. They're super nice. I do like our royal blues, but I would love to see a gold jersey here in the future. Maybe in the next 2, 3 months.
Yeah, right. All right. Well, Drew, thank you so much for speaking with me today and sharing all about you.
Thank you so much for having me. I loved talking about it.
And stay tuned next week for another edition of MASCAC Student Athlete Spotlight.